Hey guys, my name's Colin and this is my review of the Hoka Speedgoat 4 after 500 kilometers. So starting things off, I just wanted to let you know this is the end of 2021 when I'm filming this. So the Speedgoat 5 hasn't officially been announced yet, but there has been photos leaked and there's rumors of a release date scheduled for either January or March, depending on supply chain issues being resolved. But for now, the Speedgoat 4 is Hoka's most notable trail shoe in their lineup. And that being said, let's get right into it and start things off with the fit. So these fit true to size. I'm a size 10.5 in all my sneakers, and the Hoka Speedgoat 4 is a size 10.5 and it fits perfect. For me personally, up front here, I didn't have any issues with the toe box. The Speedgoat is kind of known for a more narrow toe box, but I kind of like the more secure fit that it offers. However, I do have two friends who I run with that also run in the Speedgoat 4, and they optioned to go to the wide version of the Speedgoat 4, even though they don't have the widest foot, but it just offered them a little more room in that forefoot because this forefoot feels like a little more of a racing style fit. The midfoot lockdown was very comfortable. The heel lockdown was great as well. I didn't have any issues with heel slippage. Overall, for me personally, the fit of the Speedgoat 4 was excellent. So next thing up is the traction. So the Speedgoats have become known for really great traction with the full coverage of the Vibram rubber. They also have these 5mm lugs that grip into the ground really good. And as you can see here, even though I've taken these over 500k's, these are still holding up really well. I primarily ran on trails, so these didn't get much road action at all. So that probably saved them from wearing down a little bit, but overall the durability of the traction seems to be really good. The only real visible wear is the exposed foam here, and that's not really a big issue. So next up is the cushion. So the cushion is what the Speedgoat is famous for. It has a huge stack of foam in the heel. I think it is 32mm of stack in the heel and 28mm in the forefoot. There's no rock plate in the Speedgoat, but because the stack is so high, you get all the protection that you would want anyway. So the cushion definitely has bottomed out a little bit after over 500k's. However, it still feels really comfortable. It doesn't really have that bouncy feel you get when you first put on the Speedgoat. I'd say about after 400k's or so, you really started to notice that the cushion was bottoming out a little bit. But while the cushion has definitely bottomed out, the overall comfort of the midsole remains, and so does the protection underfoot. And one of the only gripes I had with the cushion is that the stack is so high that sometimes you do feel a little bit unstable. But also I did find when you're trying on the Speedgoat for the first time, you do feel a little unstable, but the more you run in it, the more you get used to how the Speedgoat feels on your foot. And it's something that I stopped thinking about after a little while. I just got used to what the Speedgoat felt like underfoot, and I never was worried about that tippy feeling that you initially get. So next up is the upper. So the upper of the Speedgoat 4 is mostly mesh with a lot of synthetic overlays. You can see here there's a lot of protection here around the toe area, and these overlays around the midfoot and heel just for stability. I'd say generally the upper has held together really well over 500k's. There is some visible signs of tearing finally here in the upper, and there's a couple here on the lateral side as well. It hasn't really affected the performance yet, but I'm sure it will very soon. So actually, as you can see here, there's these little divots in the overlay that circles around the toe, and in those little divot areas is where the holes actually began to open up. Same thing on this side. So I'm not sure if those little divots are something that will be resolved in the Speedgoat 5, but it's something to be aware of. So the tongue in the Speedgoat is actually gusseted, and so it's not going anywhere. It is fairly thin, but I didn't find that it was an issue at all. There is a pull tab here on the heel as well. I did take these through quite a bit of water and river crossings over the summer. I wouldn't say like they're the best draining shoe, but it's definitely not the worst either. If you're going through some river crossings, your feet are just gonna be wet. So next up is the weight. So the weight of the Speedgoat 4 is close to 11 ounces for a men's size 9. So it's not the lightest shoe. However, it is a big, chunky looking shoe, and because it's so big and chunky looking, it always surprises me when I pick it up how light it actually does feel. So even though weight wise it seems to be on the heavier side, it doesn't really feel like it on foot. And next up is the drop. So this is a 4mm drop from heel to forefoot, and like I said before, it's a 32mm stack in the heel and a 28mm stack in the forefoot. So the final verdict on the Speedgoat 4 is this is my all-time favorite trail shoe. I wear this shoe more than any other trail shoe that I've ever had. So this is my first pair. I do have another pair already that I've got 200Ks on or so. I just think overall, you can't really find a better performing trail shoe. It just covers all bases for me. The comfort, the fit, the traction, it's just excellent in all those areas. It doesn't have a lot of ground feel because of that huge stack. It does offer a lot of protection, but if you enjoy that minimal type of ground feel shoe on the trails, this might not be the one for you. But aside from the lack of trail feel and sometimes feeling a little unstable because of that high stack, those are the only two downfalls to this sneaker. And they also just kind of look a little ridiculous on foot because they're so big and chunky. And sometimes the colors that Hoka puts out in the Speedgoat are pretty horrendous, to be honest, but that's just subjective, and the overall performance is what really matters, and that's where these excel. So that's it, guys. That's my review of the awesome Hoka Speedgoat 4 after 500Ks at the end of 2021. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.